Support public radio.
Throughout history, radio has always played an integral part in the Australian media landscape. According to the Australian Communications and Media Authority, or the ACMA, to be qualified as a community radio, the station needs to address a perceived need within the community whilst maintaining a strict non-profit status. Community radio is currently under threat by the new government, as its importance in Australia is questioned. So is it all worth saving?
Triple Z, listener-supported radio, 102.1 FM. We'll even take small change.
In the past, community radio stations, not just in Brisbane but everywhere, have been funded by government grants and advertising. With the grants called into question on a regular basis and the advertising revenue being limited, this is a cause for concern, as neither of these streams are part of a viable and sustainable future for the industry. The digitalisation of radio has come as a blessing in disguise, as after the initial painstaking remodelling phase, the new format allows for a wider reach for all radio stations and, in turn, greater potential. The delivery of content out to audiences over the internet does not necessarily have to be a one-way stream. There is scope for increased interactivity between radio stations and audiences. This extends to the realm of generating funds. A required annual budget can be as much as $25 million for community radio stations around the country. Community radio has a viewership of over 5 million people every week. While the services remain free, requesting listeners for donation is critical to the new model. Research suggests that a working business model based on getting a fraction of the audience to subscribe to contributing $1 a month would help meeting budgetary targets. Connecting with viewers and making the contribution process easier and more enjoyable is the key to reaching the funding target. A growing list of crowdfunding platforms on the internet, such as Kickstarter and Crowdfunder, allow organisers to appeal to audiences in an interactive and social manner. These websites act as a platform for any organisation to pitch their ideas to their audiences directly and make the contribution process more collaborative. They work in sync with social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter and can lead to growth in awareness of the services provided by the radio stations. The contributors reap the benefits of a free service as well as knowing that they are funding a noble cause. Contributors can easily track the usage of their funds and overall pledges to the station. The donations can also be published on the pledges' personal social media pages. Any surplus in the budget can be used to reward contributors in the form of merchandise. In such a model, there is no trading of equity. It's merely a model based for collective funding for organisations with limited resources on a rewards basis. It is also a model that allows for employees and organisers to appeal to personal contacts over social media and create a ripple effect by sharing their contribution status.
And sweet child in time, it's 27 minutes after 10 o'clock.
My name's Bruce Woolley. I'm a lecturer in journalism at the University of Queensland. Community radio has always, I think, had a tough time identifying its role in the media environment and the radio spectrum in particular. I think, like everybody else in the media, we've got to rethink the whole idea of community radio. What more can we do? How do we make it more interactive? I think all of those are questions that people who run community radio stations are going to have to put their minds to. Community radio stations might actually thrive if they do move online and start thinking in new and exciting ways.
And like community Indigenous radio is very, very important because, it gives us the chance, to voice our opinion, so the very, very importance of getting back to community radio in Aboriginal communities, is hearing, the voice of Aboriginal people and what's actually going on within Aboriginal communities, because that's the first place and the only place where you will hear, the true side. Like, radio has a big part to play within, the community here in Brisbane because of, when you look back at, such a time like the 80s when, Joe was, doing a lot of bad stuff, community radio was at the forefront of, fighting, for the rights of, Aboriginal people, students, union workers and everyday people.
You're listening to 4ZZ FM in Brisbane, Queensland's first stereo FM station.
So, is the future of community radio bright? By looking at alternative business models, it does become clear that sustainability can be part of community radio. It all depends on the will of the people.
I can see through the windows, they're grabbing students and they are punching. I'm now being assaulted.
All Triple Z.
Radio!